Welcome to the Women in Tattooing panel discussion. I'm Allison Wyckoff, the Director of Exhibitions for the San Francisco Public Library, and tonight's program is in conjunction with the Living Tattoo Traditions American Irezumi and Beyond exhibition, which is just across the way in the Jewett Gallery. If you haven't seen the exhibition, please do. There will be some time tonight after the program to explore the gallery, and it is open until March 1st, so you'll have time to come back and really just absorb yourself in the work. On December 17th, there's another tattoo-related program, Revitalizing Indigenous Okinawan Tattoos, Hajichi. This program begins at 6 and is a virtual event. On December 19th, we open the third and final exhibition-related center display that connects to library collections and spaces. It's called Inked Zodiac, The Art of Junii Shimada, and it's in the Chinese Center on the third floor. And you can find more information about both of those elements on the library's website. Before we begin, I'd like to recognize that the San Francisco Public Library occupies the unceded ancestral homeland of the Ramaytush Ohlone peoples, who are the original inhabitants of the San Francisco Peninsula. We recognize that the Ramaytush Ohlone understand the interconnectedness of all things and have maintained harmony with nature for millennia. In lieu of reading the full land acknowledgement, which you can find on the SFPL website, I'd like to uplift the work of the East Bay-based Sogorote Land Trust. The organization is led by Indigenous women who are working to restore sacred relationships between Indigenous people and their ancestral land, honoring matrilineal societies, and work in opposition to patriarchal violence and dynamics. We are joined tonight by an esteemed panel of truly badass artists. So I'd like to introduce each of them. Junii Shimada, also known as Junii, is tonight's OG. Junii is a Japanese-born tattoo artist in San Francisco and a pioneer in Japanese tattooing, known for being one of the most important women in the field. She co-founded Diamond Club Tattoo with her husband and fellow tattoo artist Bill Salmon, and now lectures on the art form at museums and conventions across the country. Molly Kitamura, a Korean adoptee raised in the suburbs of Minneapolis, Minnesota, says tattooing has made her feel more at home and connected. Most of Molly's clients are Asian women, and she's learned more about her culture through her tattoo practice. Molly co-curated the exhibition, Living Tattoo Traditions, and painted the mural in the gallery with her husband, Taki. She tattoos out of State of Grace in San Jose. Jen Lee began tattooing in 1995, and the following year was welcomed into the industry by her longtime friend and fellow artist, Karen Rose. Her traditional tattoo style draws on early 1900s imagery, and she now also specializes in restorative medical tattooing, serving breast cancer survivors, transgender clients, and others in her private studio in Berkeley. Gracie CT is a tattoo artist based in San Francisco. Hailing from New York and Colorado, she moved to the Bay Area in 2013 to attend the San Francisco Art Institute, where she studied printmaking with an emphasis on traditional tattoo imagery. While earning her BFA, Gracie entered the tattoo world in 2015, working as a shop hand at Ed Hardy's Tattoo City. She apprenticed under Philip Millick of Old Crow Tattoo in Oakland and began tattooing in 2019. She returned to Tattoo City in 2022 until the shop's closure in December 2024. Okay, so let's get started. Well, it's really a privilege to be on stage with you all tonight. Thank you for participating in this discussion. Doing research for tonight's program, I kept coming back to the question of why this topic is important. We're a quarter way through the 21st century, and we're still stuck in a gender binary, which is being challenged, but we also live in a male-dominated society, and tattooing has historically been a male industry. So the conversation about women in tattooing continues to be relevant. So I first want to start with your tattoo origin stories. How did each of you get into tattooing, and how has tattoo culture changed over that time? Gracie, I don't know if you want to go ahead and start. Since
I am right here. Hello.
Yes.
Okay. Hi, I'm Gracie. My origin story, honestly, it was kind of by chance. I was going to the San Francisco Art Institute. I had gone there because I wanted to tattoo. Honestly, though, I didn't really know what styles I was into. In Colorado, it was a lot of like mandalas at the time. I just like didn't really feel true to myself. I wanted to go expand. I chose a school that gave me the most scholarships. That ended up being SFAI. Ended up being where Ed went as well. I didn't really know that, but I kind of just came here and just started having all these synchronicities, including the fact that Tattoo City was right around the corner from where I went to school. Honestly, I just cold called the shop, which was like so wild looking back on it. But I basically just called and asked if they needed any help because I was working in coffee and I would look around all the time and be like, I just want a tattoo. Like, this isn't really doing anything for me. Why am I here? Maybe I should like go be in a shop and see. I do think the person who answered the phone was a old shop hand who I would say is very much appreciated in a positive and a negative light for this conversation because I do believe that I did get hired at that time because of the way I looked. I had some conversations with him personally that made me feel that way as well. But at the time, I honestly was like, you know what? I don't really care. I'm pretty used to this. Like, this is just kind of what it is. So I just pushed through it and I ignored all the weird kind of things. And that person ended up not lasting. And I did, so it worked out. Right. But yeah, I mean, my origin kind of really just comes from being a little gutsy and then asking something that I really maybe wasn't even ready for and then kind of just going with it, even though maybe someone's motives were different than mine. But it worked out and it very much informs my tattooing today. So ultimately, I'm appreciative of that. That's my story.
Well, I started in 1995. I was going to the California College of Arts and Crafts, now California College of the Arts. It's been rebranded.
Jen, can you?
Oh, sorry. Yeah, for me, I did 3 semesters at art school and realized that I was accruing a lot of debt with not really any way to pay it back. And being a printmaking, I don't know if I'd even call it a major. But I, had gotten a couple of tattoos and was just like, yeah, this, and I don't know, I was really tenacious, and it was at a time when you had to be invited in. There was, it was before the internet. There was no way to know where to get supplies or anything. So I got lucky enough to find someone to teach me a couple of things, and then that person moved away, and I was just kind of scrappy and tattooing friends until my friend Karen found me and got me a real job. For me, though, it really felt like the only option at the time, and it was hard. And we'll get into the gender thing a little bit later because it was very male dominated at the time, and there were a lot of barriers. But 30 years later, still here. Had to make it work, and it did, and I love it. So,
thank you. Hi. I don't know. I've always been into tattoos ever since I was probably in high school. I was in the goth punk scene, and most of my friends had tattoos. I always wanted a tattoo, and when I was 19, I got a tattoo. I ended up going into the restaurant business for a long time, and I was a chef. But when I got married, I quit being a chef, and at that time, the shop, State of Grace, needed a manager, and being at a family business, I started working there as a shop manager, scrubbing tubes, cleaning stations, mopping, just helping out at the shop, getting lunch, making appointments. And that also coincided with the explosion of microblading. So I felt like that was something I could do, something I would be good at, and something I could be passionate about. So I took some classes, started microblading, and a few years after that, most of my clients are women, and a lot of them are Asian women, and they would ask me eventually if I would do body tattoos on them, and it interested me because the tattoos they wanted were small tattoos that really helped them connect with their heritage of being Asian American, and that really interested me. I'm a Korean adoptee and didn't grow up with an Asian background, so being able to connect with Asian culture that way was also very fulfilling for me. So I started tattooing myself. I started tattooing some friends. I had a lot of help from the guys at the shop. I still do have help from the guys at the shop. And eventually I got to the point where I felt comfortable tattooing my eyebrow clients. That's how it started.
Hi. Well, so very beginning, I was not focusing to become a tattoo artist. One of the movie I watched for Japanese name called for Bakuchuchi Pikiryu, English name for gambler for long dragons. I was interested for person got tattooed, and my attention was this hero in the movie. And he had a big one dragon, and I very got the influence of his lifestyle, traveling to tattooing and helping. The tattooing is helping his life, but also he's helping for so much different way, risking his life. And I wanted to live like that. So that's why. Originally, I wanted to live like him. So that's. People call for like that's a gangster he was, but doesn't belong to any organization. So I approached for local gang group of people there. I wanted to become a member of you guys. I said, oh, that's not woman's world. And what? Then I had to think, and wait a minute, that person was actually tattoo artist. Maybe I don't have to become gangster. I can be tattoo artist. I can live like him. So that's, my attention was just wanted to live like the way he lived in the movie. I was a little kid. I couldn't figure out that was a true story or like made up story. But that's carry on till for many years, and I grew up in time. Still in Japan was so much things was separating. Woman cannot do this. Woman should be this way. Men should be this way. So. Grew up like that, so even I don't agree, but I had to just live for questioning in my head why. Then I approached for when I first got the tattoo myself, last few months before that, I graduating high school, and approached for Hugh tattoo artist, how I can become a tattoo artist. To Hugh, more than Hugh tattoo artist, everybody say same thing, like, oh, that's not woman's world. So kind of I didn't give up, but I thought like, oh, well, that's the way it is. Maybe I cannot be tattoo artist. So in 1987, Ed Hardy invited for Horitoshi family to tattoo convention. Then I met for Bill Salmon, my husband. And I didn't divorce him yet. I still he's my husband. So anyway, so I was talking to him about for dream. I said to him one of the night for like, well, I wanted to become a tattoo artist, and he said, "What do you mean you wanted to become? You gave up?" I said, "Well, because I'm a woman." He laughed at me. Who told that nonsense? Well. You telling me I can be the tattoo artist? Yeah, if you don't give up your dream, you come back, I'll teach you. So like, that's how I started it. So he has amazing friends, and he's basically my teacher, not just tattooing and life too, and also like so many friends teach me for not just tattooing or life about, because culture was totally different. So tattoo helped me so many ways to becoming for change myself, and still learning so many things from tattoo, and I'm still tattooing. Lots of people, I just talked backstage, but lots of people surprised me. I'm still tattooing, and I'm not thinking to any time stop or for retirement, and till when I can, I just keep going.
Yeah, so a few of you, well, all of you touched on this a little bit, so I want to go deeper. How have you been perceived in the tattoo world, and what are some of the misconceptions about women in tattooing, and how have you challenged those misconceptions?
Me?
Junii, go ahead. Yes, you start.
Okay, so just like for when I beginning was like for ball brainwash, like that's not woman's world. So then what I start tattooing, what I realized, it's not such a thing for like genders, tattooing. I know I'm a woman, and I hope I don't have to speak to everybody for I'm a woman, or what I am, or who I am, because I know who I am, what I am, that's the only matter to me. And I'm not against for anything for like people talking about the gender, but then becoming a tattoo artist, I don't think I don't see myself like male or female. I don't feel that. And that's a tattoo for if we don't know any tattoo style we don't know who did the tattoo. It's sometimes hard to tell for male did for female did. It's so hard to tell. Lots of men does such a feminine tattoo, and lots of women does for bold tattoo strong. So I try not to separately when it comes to especially tattooing for gender. I thought it was very much different because lots of people say that's not woman's world. What's the wrong with for women to be tattoo artist? But when I became, it's not such a thing for gender. That's my opinion, and I don't see myself as a male or female. I'm a tattoo artist and I'm a person that I'm tattooing.
The art speaks for itself.
Yes.
That's what you're
Yes.
saying.
Yeah, I would agree with Junii. When I started, the most common misperception was that I was the wife or the girlfriend of the shop owner or someone else who was tattooing. Like nobody ever assumed, not nobody, but like it was commonly assumed that I wasn't there on my own merit. And I will say at the time also, there was a lot of novelty in women tattooing. And, I think one of the reasons that Junii and I are still standing is that we never considered ourselves a novelty. We just really, I was like, I want to be a good tattooer, and I was looking at people who were amazing tattooers, and at the time, the majority of them were men. And so, you had things where there was like all female shops and all female this and all female that, and that's understandable in one sense, but also if you want to learn and grow and be the best, you kind of had to be in with the boys, and you had to be tough, and you had to develop kind of a thick skin.
So especially I grew up bunch of guys, boys, so I had a confusion time. I didn't know who I am, so I tried to be with boys. I tried that, and I didn't figure out I'm a girl, and people started telling me you should be this way, you should that. I knew I don't fit, and school was everybody was trying to fit for what the society like. So trying to be put me to a fit for you can live with them. But I know somewhere I'm saying I really didn't agree for too much separating for too mentally for and still when I'm right now talking I don't feel I'm sorry to say for women in tattoo category I'm saying but I don't feel in any genders so I try not to maybe I'm weird or I don't know but I don't care. I was for 9 or 8 or 9, I went to Tiger Mask sign stuff, Tiger Mask wrestlers. I was the only girl to be on the line. And from that day, kids started calling me man, girl, or woman, but didn't bother me at all. They can tell me for anything they want. Because I didn't know back then, but now I know who I am, what I am, so that doesn't matter. Whatever they want to say, whatever they want to think me about me, I don't mind, and I really doesn't bother me at all. So, and what was it we were talking about?
Just the common misperceptions or assumptions that people would have about women in tattooing.
Yeah.
And like also it was like kind of like, I think we had very similar feelings, you know, starting when we did, where it was like, there was almost like I had to reject the title of like a female tattooer to like have the respect of the people that I wanted to be my peers, you know?
So, like, first of all, thank you, Alison and Mori, for like inviting me. I'm very honored. Usually, when people ask me, this is not the first time. Few times I could come to talk about this category. I always say, thank you, but no, thank you. You know, because I didn't know how to explain about, you know, and I've been 2 years ago for, I don't know how, have you ever had a women convention, like only women tattooers?
No.
They had that for like early 2000 for like Florida.
Florida,
Right? So actually I went to 2 years, but the second year, what I found out, you know, of course, organizer was for women too, so, and it's only they can have women tattooers. Then one of the booths of a guy was there tattooing, and they said, oh, that's interesting. Then what I found out, organizer told the guy, if guy wanted to tattoo for this women convention, they have to wear the skirt. So like when I heard that, like oh my God, like I just don't want to be part of them. So I just quit going. You know, like if like men's organizer, if having for men's tattoo, well, like most of the organizer men's, right, for tattoo convention, they never ask for women to, hey, you wear push mustache on or like wear something. They don't ask that. Even like I thought it was a joke or something. I didn't feel so funny, and just I didn't want to be part of it, to be joining for the convention. So I just stopped going. So. Yeah.
I guess I was just used to that kind of attitude because being a chef, that's a male-dominated industry, and then being a sushi chef on top of that, that was really looked down upon. And I was told and treated that way every day of my professional 15 years. So I guess I don't see, it wasn't something new to me when I started tattooing, you know? It was just kind of like another day at the office in a way.
So you already had that thick skin that Jen was talking about. What about you, Gracie?
Yeah, I mean, don't they always be trying to put us in a box? It's interesting because I like to be kind of like what Junii said, where you can't necessarily tell the gender from what it is that you're tattooing. I like to tattoo kind of like a man in what I'm like visually tattooing, but then my bedside manner is quite different. I mean, I worked for a shop in 2016 where the owner didn't believe that women should tattoo, and his stepdaughter was like an incredibly talented tattooer, but at the end of the day, honestly, I think that guy wanted to tattoo. He didn't tattoo himself, so I tend to find that like there are a lot of stuff for men in the industry, but I find it to be like a projection. And if anything, it's honestly like kind of an inspiration, because it's like, okay, you're gonna put me in a box. I'm just gonna try to leave that box, and it's gonna piss you off, and it's kind of gonna do it for me, because if you're gonna underestimate women or people or certain types of people, like we're gonna like do it better. Like we're gonna like push through it. And not to say that women are better tattooers. There are so many good male tattooers, but I don't really believe in segregating people either. Like women-only shops, great. I totally understand it, but at the same time, we all have testosterone and estrogen. I think we all like have a bit of both, and I don't know, I just don't really believe in like one or the other. I'm very much female and I like appreciate that, but I can also see how much gender binary just limits women and just leaves men like free to roam, I guess.
Yeah, well, it sounds like, Junii, you were really nurtured by Bill, and you also nurture the artists that you work with in your shop. And Molly, when you were talking about your origin story, you were talking about the men.
Oh yeah, I mean, I
you.
have to say, I'm completely spoiled and privileged at State of Grace. Everyone has been nothing but respectful, helpful, encouraging my tattooing. So I haven't had as rough experiences as maybe some other women have, but yeah, I mean. my other job. It was crazy.
I feel
Yeah,
like you
so,
also come to appreciate that more when you like
Yeah,
have
oh,
bad
for sure.
experiences. It's like if you see the bad, then you can appreciate the good.
Oh, for sure. I mean, doing sushi, I had to put my hands in ice water before I could touch the fish because women have a higher body temperature and will spoil the fish. So it's like, yeah, I mean, I was hit underneath the sushi counter with bamboo sticks if I messed up. So it's like, you know, I'd been through it. So I do appreciate where I'm at right now.
So yeah, like it's a totally age, little bit, just a little different. So, but you know, like when I grew up to like totally separating women, even especially Japanese, if people know the Japanese culture, like language a little different way talk for Japanese, and so I came here and I met the Bill, and I tried to be. It's always a question of gotta be girl, womanly. You should be act like womanly. That's how I grow up for. Even I didn't like in Japan. But Bill's want to open my mind to be you, Junii. Forget that. Forget everything. Just to be you. And I had a question myself. What that mean to me? Because I tried to be. What's the for? Should I cross leg like this, talks like this? So much weight I have to pretending someone else. But he's the one to be no. Don't pretend when you just be you. And so is that okay to be by myself? And he goes, of course, you know, and that's why I loved you stuff. And he's the one to open me so many, not just for tattooing part, to be myself. And I really appreciate that. Yeah.
Well, and in researching all of you for tonight's program, there were common themes woven throughout, all of your practices and stories, and those were like reconnecting to the body, reclamation of the body, care, connection, transformative experiences, and support in addition to your artistic influences. Those are the things that you like bring to your practices, and I'm wondering if they're intentional or. And does that attract a certain clientele?
I mean, I don't know if being a woman, I do feel like there are some clients that seek out a woman tattoo artist for whatever reason. Maybe other women feel comfortable, maybe, but for me, I feel like it's more about a combination of maybe being a woman and being Asian and doing because most of the tattoos I do are heritage tattoos, so I feel like for me maybe it's both. It's not just being a woman. It's also being Asian American. That kind of influences the things I tattoo in my work.
I personally have tattooed a lot of women who go. And they're like, I honestly don't ever want to be tattooed by men again. And that makes me really sad, honestly, because there's so many like talented male tattooers out there, but there's also a lot of them that are just completely cooking it for the rest of them. So in a way, like I appreciate that because women can often feel more safe. I think like what Molly's saying, it's like a representation thing. So you see someone who looks like you doing something really cool and you just feel more comfortable with them. But some of it is definitely from like scorned bad experiences. That's just what it is sometimes.
Yeah, I have a few people who like they only get by female tattoo artist, and because I don't ask for reason for why, would be really that's personal, probably private reason, but other way as also like I do for lots of guy probably 8 of 10 people or very much. I can only female client I have, but like probably I like to ask my client. I don't think they thinking me as I'm female to coming to ask me for I do tattoo. I don't because I don't know, just like talk as a person. I don't sell my for male or female part for my business, and just like I said beginning, like I don't see when it comes to talking tattoo consultation, we do have a consultation. I don't see like I'm talking as like for some gender to come with it, you know, give opinion for, or if it's so hard for me to think like what's the human opinion, like what's the human opinions? Or like what's male thinks, you know, like because I don't know, too much people too much think, because you already knew it's different, and I know I'm a woman, and why I have to explain, or like I have to, you know, it's so hard for me to explain. Yeah, I'm gonna ask next time when you know, I've been tattooing for a long time, or client. You think I'm here, or I better not ask, but you know, but like I really don't bring for conversation or anything for that. Basically, I don't much talk anyway when I'm tattooing, so.
Yeah, I would say, you know, after so long of like kind of rejecting the idea of like female tattoo artist, you know, I think that I did, it took me a long time to come into my own femininity, and I think that when that did happen, it all just kind of happened naturally. And now like the majority of my clients are women and queer people, and I kind of realized that at a certain point, and I realized that I really liked it. Really, I don't get a lot of stories of like women that were treated badly or anything, and like always the priority has always been like the work first, that like people come to me because they like what I do. But I do feel like my own work over time has become a lot more feminine, just because like that's what I'm leaning into and what I like, and I'm just doing more of like what I love, is like taking a lot of these images that were traditionally done by men, you know, early 1900s, stuff like that, but like so much of that imagery is just inherently so feminine, and like taking the original imagery and then like doing what I do with it has just kind of naturally attracted that kind of clientele without having to like stake my claim as like a female tattooer, you know. So, but I do think that, yeah, I tattoo mostly women.
Well, and you tattoo breast cancer survivors as well, so that's like very intimate and personal, and you know, I don't know, I assume you're creating a very healing space for you know, people who have gone through an incredibly traumatic and scary experience.
Yeah, and I feel like that was just kind of a natural part of that evolution. It was like kind of right after the pandemic, and having just these really incredible conversations with people that I was tattooing, again, mostly women, and just realizing that I'd thought about doing that stuff for a while and never really felt like I was in the right space to be able to do it you know, it intimidated me. But I think, it was just a natural evolution of just really enjoying that energy. Like, I like women, you know. I like the company of women. I like the conversations that we have. And so, yeah.
I'm so surprising for like this day for like so many female tattooers, female becoming for tattoo artists, and I think that's very great, good to see. And only I wanted to give you advice was like, you know, like just try not to use excuse by genders, because I'm a woman, because I'm a male, you know, because you jump in for this job, forget the genders. That's, yeah.
Do you all feel that it's important to create a platform for up-and-coming female tattoo artists? You know, as artists yourself who've been, you know, given space and mentorship, is that something that's important to you?
Yeah, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, you. Yes.
You know, like, I don't want you to misunderstand. I'm nothing against the female, you know, like, because I am a female, and I just don't want to use for myself to be excused for, yeah, because something I cannot do, or because I'm a woman. No, that's a totally excuse to me. So I don't do that. And so if I forgot what I'm going to say.
You're okay. I mean, I think the question is ultimately like, are we girls? Do we uplift other women or people of that nature? I would say, yeah, absolutely. I had a gal actually in my Instagram DMs like a week ago, and she was asking, you know, I have some red flags from my mentorship. Like, do you think this is weird? Like, can I talk to you about it? She actually had unsent the message, but I saw it, and I was like, hey, did you message me? Like, what were you, like, ask me. It's totally fine. I'm an open book. And she basically was just asking me if she was being treated well, if she thought that these, like, sort of hazing techniques were useful or not. And I basically, like, we yapped for a long time, but like long story long is that I basically just was like kind of trying to explain to her that like tattooing has changed so much that a lot of people don't think that hazing is necessary in apprenticeships. And to a degree, I don't think it's right to be cruel to anyone ever, but we are taught to be tough by people who love and care about us, so that when people who are tough and kind of like hard clients, we know how to talk to them. We know how to like be good professional people, just really just doing a service at the end of the day. So I think at the end of the day, yeah, I'm always willing to uplift women. I also don't sugarcoat how hard it is to be here, how many experiences I've missed out on because I've been drawing, but how many experiences I've gotten because I tattoo. So it's really just like kind of what goes down to like, how hard do you want to work at something? Because everything is going to be hard, but the best things in life are really hard. Yeah, so I think ultimately, like, yeah, we do, I think being a woman tattooer is about uplifting women, but sometimes it's not so like cut and dry, like, oh, it's because you're a woman. It's because it's just like, yeah, we just believe in you, dude. Just keep going. Yeah.
In reality, I heard for a couple of guys, tattoo artists was talking, they don't believe woman tattoo artists, stuff like, haha, watch us. That's always I say, you know, because it is some men, a guy doesn't believe in woman tattooing. It's kind of sad, but it's some people do. They don't believe, you know, just maybe for temporary they doing, or tattooing is for life. You know, it's not just for like this time job. To me, it's my life, and you know, happen to be my vehicle is my female, and I'm just enjoying my ride. Yeah, so I'm nothing against. I just make sure I'm nothing against the female, and just a good luck for, you know, like it's 100 people, 100 different way to live. It's like whatever they feel comfortable, and it's we have to accept, you know, for each person. Yeah.
There have always been female tattooers.
Yeah.
For millennia, you know, old, like ancient sages, Egyptian priestesses. The Samoan tattoo origin story is two sisters bringing the tools to Samoa. I mean, it's ridiculous to say that women don't belong in tattooing when maybe we were the first tattooers.
Yeah, I mean, that's a really great point, and probably just speaks to American, like, puritanicalism. But yeah, I think I kind of follow where Gracie does. I mean, at this point, so many of like the best tattooers I know are women. I don't think that it's gendered at this point. If it ever was, it was because we were kept out, and as soon as we, you know, did the work and you know, I would say that, like, I mean, every male tattooer that I know would readily acknowledge, you know, that women are, you know, amazing. But as far as like specifically platforming women in tattooing, like, I think it really just comes down to like who's going to do the work, you know. And I'm stoked to support anyone who's doing a great job and like doing the work.
So, oh, go. Sorry, Mai. Go ahead.
I was just saying I agree with that.
So Margot Mifflin, the author of Bodies of Subversion, A Secret History of Women in Tattoo, which we have here at the library, said there's a lot of focus on the female body in our culture, and there has been for many years a lot of scrutiny and disciplining of it through cosmetics and plastic surgery. Tattooing is in reverse of that idea, the idea of defining who you want to be through your choice of design, not someone's sort of commodified push. In my mind, this situates tattooing as a radical feminist act and shifts the focus toward empowerment and ownership of a female identity. What's the relationship between feminism and tattooing? And does that quote resonate with you?
I don't know. I think we just had to do it. I remember, like, I learned how to tattoo in the Bay Area, which is very liberal and more inclusive than a lot of the rest of the country. And I moved to New York it was in 2000, lived there for about 4 years. And I remember that's where you really saw the divide, where like men being heavily tattooed was cool, and like women who were heavily tattooed were a spectacle. We were public property. We were gawked at, grabbed, yelled at. It was acceptable to have like a little, lower back tattoo or a little ankle tattoo. But I moved to New York with 3/4 sleeves on both arms, and I got used to wearing long sleeves in 98-degree weather with 98% humidity, just because I just didn't want to be harassed on the subway. There's still some of that, but and again, I don't, I live in the Bay Area again. But in that sense, like, like everything else with feminism, it just, enough of us had to get fed up and push back. And so I think it's not as uncommon now.
I mean, look, every generation has their own brand of feminism, I feel like, and I don't know if I assign myself to any of them, but my brand of feminism is just doing what you want, not asking permission, not being apologetic, and expressing yourself how you want to express yourself, and doing what you want to do, and doing a good job, doing the work, and living your life. I really admire each and every one of these women on the panel, because that's how they live their lives. They're heavily tattooed, they're unapologetic about it, they do what they want, they have the lives and the careers that they want, and they have never asked permission.
I think the same thing, like feminism doesn't have a gender. I think many men have a feminine side, and not just woman's specialty. And
Yeah, I think feminism is really just kind of, about being treated equal. I think a lot of people or women get tattooed when they're younger, or at any age really, because it can be very like body affirming. I think it's interesting in that quote how she talks about plastic surgery. Is she talking more about like the way women are expected to have those things?
Yeah.
Because to a degree, like plastic surgery is just like a body mod. It's just like tattooing, but it's just it's a little bit more under the skin, I suppose.
Yeah.
I mean, anytime you're taking agency over your own body,
Absolutely.
I think that could be looked at as feminism.
Yeah.
Anytime you're taking agency over your own life, and just educating yourself, doing what you want, being the person you've always wanted to be, that is feminism in a way, and not letting someone else dictate who that's going to be.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, agreed.
Yeah, so just to your point, Gracie, she's talking about just these unrealistic beauty ideals that women are held to, and the standards that push women towards plastic surgery to become more feminine in men's eyes. But I want to go back to what you were saying, Jen, just the idea of women tattooed And that's a whole nother topic of conversation, right? And, going back even further to your statement about, or your comment about just puritanical societies and the idea of how a woman should look and how a woman should behave. And that's also what, Margot's talking about, is really pushing against that. And that's a radical act, right? And so it's doing, living your authentic life and, fully expressing yourself. And that is
I have
feminism.
been firmly like pushing against that since my early teenage years. So, yeah. Just doing what I want.
Just doing what you want.
So as an outsider, it seems like there are contradictions in the tattoo world. So on the one hand, there's a strong sense of like welcoming, inclusivity, and community. And then on the other, tattoo culture seems very closed and insular. So I'm wondering how tattoo culture has changed with more women tattooing, and how do you create a welcoming space for your clients? And am I totally off base when I when I say that? Again, like as an outsider, this is my perception. But
Can I answer that?
Yes, please, Molly.
So at State of Grace, everyone is, everyone that we take on as a client is we try to make feel welcome, comfortable during their session. We really try to make them feel heard and a part of the process. But that's to say we don't take on every client. Case in point, a guy came in, a walk-in. He wanted 2 kanji on his calves. I took the walk-in, and as I was putting the stencil on, he made a lewd comment / question. And I was like, fuck you, get out of here. Taki was like, fuck you, get out of here. The guys were like, get out of here. There might have been a baseball bat involved, I'm not sure. But that's someone that we didn't make feel welcome. And I think the point is, it was a teachable moment for me, because it was like, don't take shit from people. You don't have to welcome everybody into your tattoo shop, especially if they're going to be disrespectful and rude. But the people you do bring on as a client, yes, please make feel welcome. Please have that bedside manner. And it's also important as a woman in a shop, if you're working in a shop with other people, that those people have your back, that you feel supported, and that you support them. And that was a horrible moment, but also a great moment, because it was really, a moment where I felt supported by my coworkers.
It's when Diamond Club was trying to be, especially Bill and I was trying to be, for they have a special experience more than for not any other tattoo shop have, like because that's a one-on-one business, like we don't like to be like third person jumping into a conversation, or because that's the person having their time, and we are just giving tattoo, and they are just paying for time. Tattoo doesn't have a price. You can't put the price. They're just paying for time, So I don't want to be I want it to be like when they out of the step of the tattoo studio, feel like, oh my gosh, that was the experience. It's not like tattooing. It's everything. Just how to treat. Respect comes around, goes around. Respect them, they respect us, and just make some special. I cannot say what is so special. Just to make special. That's I learned lots of Japanese style tattoo artist when my master I call Horitoshi Sensei. He of course talk, joke before tattoo or taking break. But like when Mary he said, okay, let's start. Like air changed. Like almost like we can't speak. Like, oh my God, don't drop a pin. Like almost really, even like we can't move. Just like sitting right there. And they said, oh, Jun-chan, you can come and watch. Oh, thank you. And I go watch. And it's not like it's like very special moment to me. And Bill very influenced. He wanted to be like people come visit like some, I won't say for church or temple, but make feel like, wow, only this place can have this moment feeling, And it is for like doing a good tattoo is for very important, but more giving for special feeling, because tattoo is a very personal thing, and everybody have a totally different reason to come to get a tattoo. And I wanted to they have for good memory, and because they live with them for rest of life, So it's a very big part of it's a great job, to giving for, and we don't talk, but like I always believe our hands are talking already, to touching for person for how many hours, sometimes like 3-4 hours, or sometimes more, just touching. That means like we are like very much like energies, what's called trade exchanging. I wanted to be myself to be very positive, and even anything happen, sad or bad or for good, negative happen outside of the studio. When we come to tattoo, I just tuning myself to like be positive, because it's nothing to do my personal negative energy for this person, because I don't want to give it to that, because I believe for like frequency or energy for so powerful, I don't want to give for them for anything for negative energy stuff. So that's the reason why I don't talk, but like I'm talking by hands. So and that's our Diamond Club's goal, to be given some special moment, special time. Yeah.
I think I'm a little, I got a little lost on what the question was. You were talking about inclusivity in tattooing,
Yeah, so.
like for people who are tattooing, like the.
Yes. Yeah. So for tattoo artists, from my perspective, and working on this project, the American Irezumi exhibition, the show of community and welcoming and inclusivity was really strong. But I hear stories about like it's just hard to break into the world of tattooing, and it can be kind of like an old boys
I will
club.
say like it's much easier to break into tattooing now, and there is something that has been lost with that. I was just having this conversation the other day. Something had to change. I do think that like there needed to be more inclusivity. There was like really unnecessary exclusivity when it came to certain groups of people. And I do think that like that has largely been beneficial. I think that there are a lot of things that, specifically probably Junii and I had to endure that like it was abusive and like it wasn't necessary, But at the same time, kind of like one of the things that Gracie had said is that like you do need to learn to like have a little bit of a thick skin. And I think that there is a lot of navel gazing with some of the newer kids. And because they don't have that. This is a hard job, and it takes a lot of tenacity and a lot of perseverance and a wild curiosity, and like so there is that wonderful thing where there's like it's multicultural because we have like so many of us, we landed here because we're neurodivergent and like have these just like insatiable appetites for knowledge and we're curious, and so on that level, like I think that there is a lot of inclusivity and a lot of like cross culture and stuff that's really invigorating and amazing. I think that with it cracking so wide open where someone can just like buy stuff, watch a YouTube video, start tattooing their friends. They have no depth. They don't understand any of the history, the culture, because like, the reason that this tattoo community is so, it can be a little insular, but it is like so tight is, that we all did come up in that. And now there's just like so much fringe that feels pretty soulless. So I would say for the people who are coming in, who are going to come in anyway, who want to do it, that's great, but like treat it with respect.
I mean, I feel like tattooing was so marginalized by society for
Right.
so long
Yes, exactly.
that I don't blame anyone that's been in this industry, community or profession for so long, I don't blame them at all for feeling exclusive. I don't blame them at all for being protective over tattooing, because they were a community, a tight-knit community, because they were so rejected by society. So that's completely society's doing. And for now it to be opened wide up and everyone acceptable, and they don't understand how that felt and that culture and that closeness that was bred with the bonding of, having, two tattooers in your town. That's it. Yeah. Maybe 50 world, all, across the United States. That's a small community. And they made their own traditions, their own ways of being, their own society. And to be protective of that, I don't blame them. I don't blame them at all.
Yeah, no, that's a great point. Like, we were kind of in the trenches, and now we've got a lot of new kids who just want to enjoy the spoils, and...
It's not to say that they shouldn't enjoy tattooing or be in the community, but people should know where it comes from and the struggles and the being on the fringe of society. That's not a great feeling a lot of times.
Right, and case in point, like Gracie, she has the mentality and the approach of an old school tattooer, where she did approach with great respect and wanting to know the history and really going about all these things the right way and learning all that stuff. And so the whole it's too hard to break into tattooing. It's well, no, you just you can't just show up and be I want a tattoo and not, I want to learn how to tattoo and not have anything to back it up.
Pick up a book. Pick up a Hardy Marks book.
Yeah. Yeah,
to know where to come from is to know where you're going, right?
Yeah, we're not trying to be so exclusive. It's just new people who show up in earnest, that happens all the time, and they are brought in and loved and nurtured, and they're a great part of the community. People that don't want to do the work, they just, I don't know, they're doing their own thing. But it's
just knowing
it's
history, even just knowing who Millie Hall was, even just knowing. Wang Odd and how long she's been tattooing. Just knowing, as a woman, the women that came before you.
Ed was. Is.
People think Ed Hardy is just
designer,
a
right?
clothing brand.
No, I mean, honestly,
tattooers, people who are tattooing, who don't, yeah.
I personally think it's a society problem. I think we gatekeep because what we do is sacred. It's one of the oldest professions. I'm pretty sure they weren't charging an arm and a leg back in the day, ancient times to get tattooed. We were trading for things we needed, food, shelter, whatever. But over COVID, I watched the Ink Master shows. I had never seen them before. And I realized how much this has become a $1 billion industry. And when something becomes glamorized in a $1 billion industry, everyone wants their hands in things. Everyone wants to create something that can make a lot of money and be the next whatever thing. I do think that those tattoo shows are great in the way that it opened the doors for people to consider that could be a job. But when you're seeing something that's so highly produced, you're not really getting the real pain and the time it takes. You're not seeing how long it took for them to draw. You're not seeing, it's a 15-second TikTok video. You're seeing someone apprentice in a year. We simply don't live in 15-second bursts. So I think that kids today are just like kids 20 years ago. They want a tattoo, but they have a really disconnected way of knowing to go about it. And I really do think that you need to know where you're coming from in order to know where you're going. It just doesn't make any sense to build a house without a foundation. You're not gonna, this shit's just gonna fall apart immediately. And I just really do think it's a money problem. And I think after COVID, a lot of us realized that we don't like a lot of the jobs in this country. This country doesn't really take care of us. We'd love to be our own bosses, but I'm my own boss, and she's a bitch. She makes me work when I don't want to. She makes me work when I'm sick. There's a lot of stuff that I don't really always wanna do, but that's just what you have to do to get here. And so people don't understand that it takes what it takes, which is going to be different for everyone. There's no right way to apprentice per se. It's going to be different for everyone.
Well, and get tattooed.
Literally, I learned
You know?
so much getting tattooed.
Get tattooed. You don't know what you're doing until you get tattooed.
And ask questions. Like, it's okay. Yeah. Seriously, get tattooed. It's the best way.
This has been a great conversation. The time has flown by. Can't believe it's 7 already. We have a few minutes for Q&A from the audience. But first, I want to thank everyone here on this panel tonight. Junii, Molly, Jen, and Gracie, thank you so much for bringing your wisdom and your experience. I'm going to just change roles here and pass the mic.
Yeah, I'd like to thank everyone for attending this event tonight. It's extremely helpful and a new insight into tattooing. What I wanted to say in terms of the overall impact of tattooing, Junii up there is my tattoo artist. Her husband, Bill, really changed her life, and he was so upbeat. He a really nice, kind person. He said most of the tattoo process is actually communicating with your client, making them feel welcome when they come in, and doing your thing. And both of them extremely talented artists. Junii never went to art school in her life, and she's considered a world-class traditional Japanese tattooer. It's amazing. A couple of thoughts that went through my mind in terms of how to frame women and men and what it means to be a woman in a man's world is some of the really tattoo greats in America have been Don Ed Hardy, who's 81 years old now. Really talented guy, went to San Francisco Art Institute, the only job he could possibly get when he got out of college. And graduate school at Yale, where he majored in graphics art and design. The only job he could get was being offered a full professorship there, which he turned down. But he's such an unusual guy. He's written 10, 12, 15 books. Lyle Tuttle was a really famous male tattooer in San Francisco, famous, probably the best television interviewer about the history of tattooing. And then there's another fellow called Good Time Charlie, who works out of Modesto, who's like in his mid-80s now, who's one of the most conversational people you'd ever want to find. But why do I mention some of these people? Because the sharpness or the unawareness and lack of knowledge I had in tattooing was greatly increased by attending 3 or 4 wonderful tattoo conventions that were sponsored by Taki here. I think he stopped them, Marley, 3 years ago, roughly, or 4 years ago. But he would have handpicked 200 artists. They only got into the show because he knew who they were from all continents of the world, and many of them were women. And just walking through that kind of environment, asking questions of people who were tattoo artists or people being tattooed or whatever, was just a way to kind of like give us some sense of, the grounding or the history behind this, because it goes back in Japan 400 years, and tattooing, I think they say, goes back 6,000 or 7,000 years. But I just wanted to share that because it's some of these, and then Taki was really, really famous, and it's still known today for putting on a seminar in 2014 down at the Japanese American National Convention Museum in Los Angeles, California, and he put out like 120-page, brochure summary booklet that he priced out at for $10. It wasn't like $300 or $400, but in my lifetime, I've seen tattoo artists going from being marginal to ones who felt like it's the way to get into an income that can be in the realm of $100,000 a year, $125,000, $150,000. That's not what tattooing was all about. But the question I would have is, Molly, describe your beautiful back tattoo, which is on the wall behind us, and you're in a beautiful kimono.
That's the only back piece I've ever completed. It's not a full back piece. It's Nukibori. It doesn't have a background, and that's my client Emily that trusted me with her back. Two koi fish in a river.
Any questions?
You women are so beautiful and amazing. And I'm a huge fan of you, Jen. Amanda Go is my tattoo artist, and I
Love Amanda.
She's the best. She's the best. I love her.
Fantastic.
And I got
Sister.
She gave me my first tattoo at Karen Rose's studio in Berkeley, and then I found her years later. I was really glad to hear you guys say get tattooed, because I follow this one woman. She's in Poland. She has no tattoos. I love her illustrations, but she has none. And I always kind of wondered, like, well, would that be a good person to get a tattoo from? They don't know what it feels like, right? So that was one thing. The other thing, I guess I'm a sexist because I like only women tattoos, because the one I got from a man is totally blown out and horrible, and I feel like women have a softer, finer touch. Maybe smaller hands? I don't know. What do you think? Do you think there's something to the mechanics? Or am I just a sexist?
You know, I think, it depends, because I think largely things tend to be more painful or get blown out, stuff like that, when people are learning how to tattoo. People who are learning to tattoo hurt. But I've been tattooed pretty equally by men and women, and I do know some women who pretty heavy-handed and some men who are really gentle. Khalil Rinti, who's tattooed me pretty extensively, is a really gentle tattooer, like remarkably. But I will say, like, I've been told by a lot of people that I have a really light hand, and I'm not sure. I do, I am aware, of like trying to not cause unnecessary discomfort. A lot of it really has to do with like how you're running your machines and how you're working. And so yeah, but I would say that maybe like within that, like people who do tend to run their machines and work in a way that might be a little more painful or a little more heavy-handed, I would say like are maybe more commonly men, but not exclusively at all. And then as far as like getting tattooed by people who don't have tattoos, like, yeah, it's weird. What are you doing? Like, are you like, do you not love it? Like, if you don't love it, what are you doing? And then, yeah, you don't know what you're doing. You don't know how it feels. You don't know you have no concept of what you're putting people through. That just, I don't really have any respect for that, I gotta say. So
I know someone who recently quit an apprenticeship because tattoos hurt. And that one really got me. I don't understand the concept of not having tattoos. It's exactly the same thing. It's like, do you not love this? Do you think this is just like a brief phase in your life? Like, I truly think that if you want to give everything to tattooing and you expect that, like, you actually have to give everything to tattooing. So yeah, I don't know about getting tattooed by people with no tattoos.
Hi, I have a question. My name's Coral. I work over at Electric Oni Tattoo up in Petaluma. Really excited to be here, and I love all four of you so much. I have a really interesting question, so I'm really excited to hear about your kind of perspective on it. But with the dawn of COVID, tattooing blowing up the way that it did, everyone coming in and whatnot, how do you ladies feel about the corporate tattoo shops?
Oh, I've heard
Garbage.
of them. Yeah, that's pretty garbage.
It's really
For a
interesting.
tattoo shop, what are you talking
There's a
about?
tattoo shop
Yeah.
that's like out of like,
Oh, like Cleopatra.
there's this tattoo shop that has like 200 something locations across the world.
That's Cleopatra.
Yeah.
I mean, that's exactly what I'm saying about everyone wanting to get a little piece of the pie. I remember when they opened up not far from Tattoo City, and we looked it up, and there was no faces to the tattoo artists. You couldn't tell who had done what. Honestly, it looked like someone had done all the tattoos. Like, it was very confusing. I mean, I think I mean, I think your intuition is good. I think it just separates, corporations versus the small businesses. Like if old school tattooers are small businesses, like, I don't know, do you want a tattoo from Target? I don't.
Is that
It's so insane.
is that the tattoo shop that like they have a graphic designer design it and then someone else tattoos it?
Yes.
Yes.
I mean, it's like everyone's got to start somewhere, and if you go get tattooed in one of those places, that's who you're getting, is like someone who can't get hired in a real shop.
I mean, there's a saying that you get the tattoo you deserve. So.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
People who've gone to those shops too, and they haven't had the worst experiences. So I don't want to completely discredit them, but I do think it comes from like a place of just making money and not actually having any love for tattooing. So it's not for me.
Yeah, just to, before get a tattoo, it's very worth to research for artists, what kind of tattoo they do, and also like easy to find out what kind of person too. You don't want to get for tattoo by asshole, so you don't want to get a tattoo by nice people, get a nice tattoo. So that's not hard to find that. So not just focus for tattoo itself, just to find out for right person to do your tattoo. That's most important too. Yeah. So that's missing for those for what's called they don't know who tattooing and what's the tattoo artist's name did for like those what's called kind of tattoo shop. What?
Like a corporate tattoo shop.
Corporate tattoo shop. Yeah. Well, some
A
people.
chain, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Chain, yeah.
Other questions? This is one of my children.
What's the most common tattoo that you get requested to do?
The most common tattoo.
My case, that's lots of Japanese style tattoo, starting for peony to for all Japanese style. But that doesn't mean I only do Japanese. I love to challenge. Some people come to me challenge to do totally nothing to do with Japanese. I love that.
Yeah, I would say that people, like come to me for what I do. Same with Junii. So, a lot of kind of like traditional Americana, but with a little bit more of a softer hand. A lot of florals.
Yeah, you're like all florals and hearts and like pinups for sure.
Yeah, a lot of pinups. Love
That's
'em.
what I saw when I worked with you. I mean, I mostly like traditional. I come to find I do a lot of Betty Boops, so those are really I've done like damn near 100, which is crazy. Honestly, I'll do anything I think I can do well, but I think I really like traditional, bold lines, tough stuff.
I get asked to do a lot of non-English characters, like Chinese characters or Arabic characters, or I did a Babayan tattoo the other day, or Japanese kanji. So I get asked to do a lot of those, which I really, really enjoy doing.
Do you draw the Arabic calligraphy or the Babayan?
I don't draw that myself. I usually have the client bring it in how they want it.
Yeah, that's cool. Other questions?
Sorry. Thank you for all your words. I appreciated hearing everything. As someone who's aspiring to be a tattoo artist, I thought that section where you guys were talking about like breaking into the industry and knowing the history, that was really motivating for me, especially because like I've been spending a lot of time trying to do that. So I have two questions, if that's okay. My first one is, for each of you, do you have like an artist that you think is a primary inspiration or someone that you're constantly influenced by, and like who is that? And then the second question is a more technical question for Gracie and Jen. Sorry, nervous. I like to do traditional style, and I had a question for you guys. How do you think that like the digital medium, so like iPad and like Procreate, has affected your workflow? And like, do you find that to hinder or help with like painting and creating flash and stuff like that?
That's a good question because Jen and I are kind of like a little bit opposite on that. Like I do use Procreate a lot. I love to sit on my couch and draw. I don't have like a drawing table that I like to be at as much as just sitting cross-legged. I don't know why, that's always been me. So yeah, I have this little tablet and then it has all my stuff in it. I definitely do draw on paper, but I'm not really like a draftsman in the way that like Jen is. Like when, oh my gosh, working next to you, like her whole room was covered in hand-drawn giant back pieces. They blew my mind, but also stressed me out because I was like, man, if you make like one mistake, my OCD would want to like completely do the same thing. So I love Procreate because I can add layers, take away. It saves me a lot of time, but I definitely don't think you should limit yourself just to one. Definitely do both. And if you're interested in tattooing, I would not use the iPad yet. I think that like really doing stuff with your hand with a nib, like it's way more like a tattoo machine than if you're drawing on a screen, because skin is not like a screen at all. I forget the first question. Oh, my inspirations. Oh
Yeah.
my gosh.
Oh, that was loud. Sorry.
Way too many to say, and they change all the time. Some are modern, some are not modern, and I find out new people every day. So like, so hard to answer that question. There's just so many.
Yeah, I would agree with that as far as like who's currently inspiring. I feel like it really changes a lot. I think that like my early inspiration though was like the early 1900s European tattooers and like some of the American tattooers like through like the 1920s, and I was in an antique store, this was, in the 90s, and looking through tear sheets, and I found the original, it was an ad. It was like a war bond advertisement that had the wolf that was like the Sailor Jerry wolf that was like painted on like all of the flash. And it's just like this light bulb went on where it's like, obviously like we all pull from like inspiration from all of these different places. But just seeing that like right in front of me, this like 1940s ad that had become a tattoo that was timeless, just like plucked from the pages, just made me realize like, kind of started my lifelong love of just like digging through all of this ephemera and like finding those original images and then doing my own thing with them, but like with that traditional kind of foundation. So like you can take that inspiration from anywhere. As far as the iPad, I'm too tech dumb. I don't like the way it feels. I can't figure it out. I've never been able to do a drawing. I know other people who've been tattooing longer than me. They took to it really quickly and easily. It's really just a mental block for me. And so I do everything with, red pencils and then I make a clean trace with ink, and that's just what feels the best to me. I don't think it's right or wrong at all. But I will say, like, kind of along what Gracie was saying, that I don't know. I do think that there is something to that feeling of like drawing on paper, but.
Also, just on the note of you finding that advertisement, I feel super strongly about that too. I found like a reference that was like a famous Joe Lieber pinup in a library once and like lost my shit. I was so excited. If you are interested in that, I would look at, it's an Instagram called Tattoo Origins, I believe, and they will take like an original image from like what people were referencing and then maybe like a modern version of a tattoo. And so you can really see like what people were pulling from. I don't know. I just think that's really cool.
My inspiration, there's so many every tattooer pretty much inspires me in some way. Jen inspires me. Junii definitely inspires me. Gracie inspires me. All the guys at the shop inspire me. I mean, I'm lucky enough to work with one of the best Japanese tattooers in the world. He inspires me and intimidates me all the time. But as far as like references, honestly, check out Hardy Marks. We have awesome books. We have a whole Joe Lieber book. But yeah, Instagram and Hardy Marks.
It is so hard to pick for you tattoo artist. It's so hard to find a dislike artist. And I learn from every one of them. Some artists I like for way they do for crowd, way they do for water. Some artists I like to do for way finishing up for Japanese style, the Mikiri style, and each person have like a different taste. I cannot say for which I like. It's a learning from each piece of it, and if I like it, I try to do for very similar to do for how then. Philip the one already told me for like for when you like some art you find for magazine, try to do same way, and you become for that artist how you feel for why you did this that way, and so I try to do that for drawing too. Like then I can change for a little bit this way that way. So it's so hard to pick for one or two or even like a few artists. I love all tattoo artists. Everybody have a very unique way to tattooing and different. So yes.
Any other questions? Okay, well, thank you so much for being here tonight. Really appreciate all of you, and I'm so inspired by each one of you. So thank you. Let's give a round of applause to the panelists. And thank you all for being here tonight.
Thank you.
Thank you.